The discussion tonight happens in a very particular and challenging situation. A turning point in history, most likely. A dangerous, horrific, and paradoxical situation of an ongoing genocide broadcasted in real time. A genocide of Palestinians in Gaza committed by a people that once suffered a terrible genocide themselves. The Palestinian resistance actions of Hamas from October 7 and onwards must be understood as part of a long history of occupation, ethnic cleansing, apartheid, and colonization of Palestine for a time longer than I have lived my whole life. The Palestinian resistance actions of Hamas from October 7 and onwards must be understood as part of several different Palestinian forces' attempts over all these decades with all kinds of means necessary to achieve liberation, war between nation states, diplomacy, nonviolent or popular resistance as it's called in Palestine, journalism, documentation of human rights violations, research, writings, mass protest, litigation in courts, peaceful boycott, armed resistance, as well as terror. This evening aims to set the Palestinian liberation struggle in such much broader perspective, making sense of the situation and explore ways forward. This evening is also a part of an ongoing series of interventions regarding Palestinian liberation, organized by the Media Education Foundation, Students for Justice in Palestine, and the Resistance Studies Initiative here at UMass-Amherst, where we organized previously a panel on criminalization of dissent in the US for Palestinian rights, particularly for those that are advocating for a boycott of Israel or the BDS movement. And in the spring of next year, we will have Norman Finkelstein visiting UMass as part of this series. We organize this event tonight at UMass in our role as human beings, citizens of the key state, United States, that supports the systematic war crimes and violations of human rights by Israel with military, diplomatic, and financial support. But we also organize this event tonight as academics, because we think this is part of our role as academics, to reject the absurd idea of a disinterested, value-free social scientist, which, when you think about it, is actually an uninteresting social scientist without value. We see it as our role as academics to critically evaluate and produce knowledge that is not just a reproduction of the dominant ideas and perceptions of our time and our context, particularly knowledge about the conditions for human liberation, freedom, democracy, rights, and dignity for all peoples, be that Palestinians or Jews. With awareness that knowledge is plural, developed in dialogues between perspectives, which is something we want to model here tonight, in the form of a kind of open, critical, and respectful debate where we can have here at our campus, forming a culture of a dialogue where differences are seen as resources in our search for human liberation and dignity. I am very honored today to have two complementary voices that articulate the struggle in Palestine from different positions and perspectives. A Palestinian poet and activist, and a human rights defender and researcher. An excellent combination. Kenneth Roth was the executive director of Human Rights Watch for 3 decades, the first human rights organization in the world that defined Israel's occupation of Palestine as characterized of apartheid. Now a visiting professor at Princeton University and a senior fellow at the Harvard Kennedy School's Carr Center for Human Rights Policy. He has also served as a federal prosecutor in New York and Washington, D.C., and has conducted numerous human rights investigations and missions around in the world, and written extensively on issues of international justice, counterterrorism, and the work of United Nations. And then we have Mohammed el-Kurd, who is an international touring, award-winning poet, writer, journalist, and organizer from Jerusalem in the occupied Palestine. In 2021, he was named as one of the 100 most influential people in the world by Time magazine. He's best known for his role as a co-founder of the hashtag Save Sheikh Jarrah, a Palestinian neighborhood in Jerusalem threatened by illegal Israeli annexation. His work has been featured in numerous international outlets and has appeared repeatedly as a commentator on major TV networks, and he's currently working as a Palestinian correspondent for the magazine The Nation. Tonight, we will begin by having Ken speaking for 20 minutes, and then Mohammed speaking for 20 minutes. And then we will have space for Q&A. And we will make sure that there is space enough for discussions. So we're aiming for 1 hour discussion. So we will be ending around 9:30, 9:45. With that, I welcome Kenneth Roth to speak.